It's a rear naked choke that submits Dustin Poirier. Charles Oliveira remains the champion. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to another 11th Island Immediate Reaction. I'm Brad here with Chris. And like Chris mentioned off the top, we're here to discuss Charles Oliveira retaining his lightweight UFC championship by submitting Dustin Poirier in round 3. Chris, what do we think of this fight?
Well, I mean, Brad is sad. I'm glad. I mean, you could see this guy's the Poirier stand. On the Poirier side of things, I'm on the Oliveira side of things.
Yeah.
It went how I wanted to go. I mean, first off, you got to respect the hands of Dustin Poirier. He came out real scary, and I couldn't believe at times, even as someone who's really confident in Oliveira's durability, that he was rolling with it. Just to see it, and I think it's the same way I felt in the Chandler fight, where Oliveira's he's gonna win his fights and he's gonna win them early, but he's gonna make his fans a little bit and the people rooting for him a little bit scared at times.
Yeah, the similarities to the Chandler fight where he gets rocked in the first round. Both Chandler and Poirier had the opportunity in the first round to put him out, and he comes back in and just dominates the rest of the fight. Like, you look at the second round where as Poirier, they were talking on the broadcast program saying something might be wrong in the post-fight. He was just talking about that he didn't feel it was a good position. But when Poirier gets on his back and sits there for essentially 3.5 minutes just to avoid Oliveira advancing in a spot where he might be able to get a submission, just tells you all you need to know about how respected his submission skills are, which ultimately he came out in round 3 and almost immediately got him into it.
Well, the move that he did to just get to Poirier's back, I called it, it's like breaking ankles in basketball. Just he, did the juke, and next thing you know, it looked like, and it's not what happened, but it looked like Poirier. It was a setup. It was like a badly choreographed WWE move that how with such ease he got onto his back. And once you asked me, do you fall back here or do you stand? Was there any way out of that for
No,
Poirier?
as soon as he took his back, there's no getting out of it. I don't think there's a fighter on the roster that's able to get away once Oliveira gets your back. He has the most submissions in UFC history for a reason, because once he gets a hold of you, he's not going to let go. And I mean, at this point, winning the title by knocking out Michael Chandler, defending the title, submitting Dustin Poirier, he's setting himself up here where a lot of people, including myself for a lot of times, have looked past Oliveira, thought he was almost like a placeholder for the title. And I think we really need to start putting a lot of respect on his name, because he's doing things that dominating people into fashion that we saw Khabib do.
And we're gonna talk about the submissions, or the submission in this fight. We're gonna talk about that third round that was pretty much all grappling from Oliveira. But we're going to soon forget that, Poirier had a bloody nose within 2.5 minutes.
Yes.
He was tagged. There was a couple times he went back. You could see it in his eyes where he was like, "Woo." So that's what Chandler was feeling.
Well, I think it's a situation where Oliveira doesn't necessarily have like that overwhelming power, but he has that pinpoint accuracy where you can kind of look at a situation where you go, how does Oliveira sleep Michael Chandler, but Justin Gaethje over the course of a 15-minute fight can't sleep him? And it's because Oliveira lands on the right on the button on that right spot.
And I think what we're seeing, I think we saw it with Khabib, we're seeing it with Usman, and now we're seeing it with Oliveira, where these guys that are just lean on the grappling, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, the sambo, are really turning now to say, okay, we need to be able to last out that first round against these heavy hitters. We need to have respectable hands, and they're going from just not only respectful hands to say, hey, if we want to be on the feet this whole fight, we can roll with that. And I think one of the things that Oliveira did exceptionally well was, even when he was knocked down, Poirier didn't want to go. He didn't even want to go into ground and pound. You don't even want to take that risk. So you kind of have an extra safety net where it's almost like you're fighting a pure boxing fight where you get the knockdown, you get 10 seconds to stand up, whereas Poirier, if he gets knocked down, Oliveira's smelling blood in the water.
And when the takedown threat is always there, the hands drop a little bit, and it just opens up everything. And when you have somebody with the boxing skills of Oliveira, it's a lethal combination. And Poirier, I mean, he is an elite lightweight fighter. So for Oliveira to do what he did tonight, it's just simply outstanding.
And at the end of the day, I mean, Poirier winning would have been big for the UFC after growing his name so much, his brand off of the 2 Conor fights. But now, I mean, there's so much parity in this lightweight division. You think about the MMA math, and the MMA math doesn't work. The formulas are all broken, which is a great place to be if you're trying to put on exciting, dynamic fights. These guys have kind of been around each other, been on top of each other, come up in the same class. All of these guys in the top 5, 10, of this lightweight division. It's going to be so exciting coming forth here. And I mean, for Poirier, no disrespect. Oliveira, lots of respect. Well, Chandler, gets a little bit of a redemption. I think he's been really kind of, after losing to Oliveira the way he did, he's been disrespected quite a bit, I think. And that, I mean, that's going to start really coming in from Bellator into UFC. Just the UFC pure fans are going to have kind of been thinking less of him from the start, but I think some respect goes on his name. Brad, what comes next after this?
Well, it's easy, I think, to start with that. Gaethje is going to get the title shot against Oliveira. That has to happen next. And that was solidified by the Makhachev-Beneil Dariush fight being set up next. So I think that is, I think you're on the same page as me. Gaethje Oliveira next. I think the real question after this fight is going to be, what does Dustin Poirier do next? Because he mentioned that if he won this fight, it was going to be his last fight at 55. And I think if you're already looking past 55, we know about the struggles to make 55 for him. I think it's best to move on. I think if he stays at 55, there's probably not a lot of options. It's a tougher road to get back to the title with how many killers are in that division right now. And he's probably going to have to take a fight against probably the loser of Makhachev-Dariush and take it. And that's a big step back. The fresh coat of paint. Move up to welterweight. His body can fit into a welterweight division very well. He has a thick, lean body, and you can walk into some big fights there. Like a Poirier-Covington fight has a lot of heat behind it from personal feuds that would sell well. That's probably a co-main on a pay-per-view, and that's a great fight. I would pay to see that fight tomorrow.
And for Poirier, you got to respect the year that he's had fighting Conor McGregor, as we said, twice, beating him twice, with an asterisk, I guess, if you're a big Conor fan. And then coming up against Oliveira, you're going from a guy that's infamously become pure boxing to now such a dynamic guy in Oliveira, and just the training, the mentality. You almost fall prey to the same thing Conor McGregor did, in that you become very one-minded in how you're going to approach fights. And I think we saw that a little bit tonight with all of him fighting Oliveira. So now I think, again, if you're going to leave the division, go up, you can give yourself some freedom to take some time to gain that weight, kind of readjust a new nutrition plan, enjoy the holiday season. I think one of the nice things about these December cards, if you're fighting on them, is that you can really enjoy the end of the year. And I think Poirier is going to do that. He's going to continue to do the charity. What he did, the olive branch to Oliveira at the end was
no pun intended.
No pun intended. I never intend your puns. And that was very nice. So very nice from, and I'm going to say one more time, very nice, Dustin Poirier. Now,
if you want to be very nice.
Yes. Well, first off, I'm going to say this right now. We're on a crash collision. There's just two trains running at each other, and they're named Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. These two guys are going to face off for the title very soon.
Well, I don't think so. I think Justin Gaethje might have something to say about that.
He will, but I think it goes very much like we've seen 2 times already from the
Yeah,
lightweight champ.
I'm not gonna put disrespect on the lightweight champ right away, but to just glance over Justin Gaethje immediately is I think that's something. I think that's something, Chris. I think that's something, Chris.
I'm not glancing over Justin Gaethje. I'm just saying I'm gonna go out. I said I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm going into the future.
I think this is something that we will discuss more at length on Tuesday morning with our MMA Weekly show that will be coming back this week. Make sure to check it out Tuesday, and if you want to be very nice, like Chris mentioned 6 times in this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We have a 500 subscriber giveaway coming up. We just also immediately reacted the Lomachenko-Comey fight, so check that out somewhere around here on the YouTube, and we will see you later.
Oh, I didn't even play the music yet. All right, everybody, we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Music on the outro.
Well, it's recording us right now. Hey, everybody, click on these videos. We should have muted the mic.